Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV. I don't even know how to start this, but I'm honestly disgusted. Reality TV has just, overall, we know for the most part, it's unreal. Even if it's supposed to be portraying these people's real lives, a lot of stuff that we're seeing is just like, are we really even seeing this? Is this really even entertaining? I did a community post a few days ago because over the past several days over the weekend, I was watching some past seasons of The Real Housewives of New Jersey from many seasons ago, like seasons 3, 4, and 5. And even though it was a lot of stuff going on, it was messy, it was drama, and it was these people's real lives. Also, it wasn't a bunch of played up stuff just for the sake of television. It was, even though it was entertaining and it was messy, it was real, but it wasn't to the point where it was like, even though it's family stuff and family stuff can be like really, really messy, it wasn't to the point where it was like, this is dangerous. Like, why is this on television? Love and Marriage Huntsville is one of these shows that I'm really just disgusted by. And for the most part, it's because of one main character and some supporting characters that are pretty much just downplaying DV. And you know what DV stands for. I feel like there's a big issue, not just on that television show, but in society overall, where people do not take emotional and verbal abuse seriously. It's a real thing. And unfortunately, it's not taken as seriously, almost as much as mental health isn't taken as seriously. And that's why it leads people to the physical aspect. You better believe that if somebody starts there when it comes to the emotional and the verbal, they are more capable of going to the physical aspect of it. So I don't see how anybody could be in support of anyone that has displayed those tendencies. And Martell, I'm going to use his government name, even though he really isn't respected in my eyes, and I don't owe him that respect. I'm just going to go ahead and give it to him right now. I'm not giving him the respect, but I'm just going to go ahead and use his government name, because when they arrested him, they didn't put Hotel or Arion's baby wipe on the mugshot or on the paperwork that they used to book this fool. They never would have pressed charges against him. Well, they didn't press the charges. Actually, they pursued it in terms of an investigation, which takes a while. And they got to the point where, yeah, this is a cause for actions for him to be arrested and charged. So yeah, Melody may have pressed charges, but you can want somebody locked up all day long. It doesn't mean that there is a case there. Unfortunately, I remember years ago, I had hired a contractor to do some work, and this was a long time ago, but they had done some work on my home, and then they were supposed to be doing some other things. And I just, I foolishly made a wrong mistake, and I paid the person the rest of the money because it just seemed like he had already done a good job on some of the other things that he had done. He had built a deck and some other landscaping things that I had done, but there were some other things that he was going to come back and do that he never did. And I had already paid him all of the money. And he admitted that he used the money to do some other stuff, but he promised that he was going to come and finish the job. And he kept giving me the runaround. And I just got to the point where I was so pissed that I was like, you know what? This is it. You admitted to stealing my money pretty much because you took my money that I paid you to do this job and to get the materials and the other things that I needed, and you admitted that you used that money for something else. That's, to me, that's stealing. I wanted to press charges. I actually contacted the police department. I wanted him arrested. But they told me, this is what they told me. Unfortunately, there is no criminal case there because he did do some of the work. If I had just paid him all of the money and he did absolutely nothing, then they could proceed. But unfortunately, at that point, it was a civil matter and I had to take it up in the civil court. And yeah, I sued him in civil court, got a judgment that I never collected on, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just basically saying this to say, just because Melody may have wanted him to be held accountable, if there wasn't anything there for them to be able to arrest him on, there was no chargeable offense, he would not have been arrested. So the fact that these people have downplayed it is absolutely disgusting. And to see that on this trailer for the new season coming up, to see how people are just downplaying it is disgusting. To see Tisha, of all people, downplaying it, that just goes to show you how much she denies the verbal and emotional abuse, in my personal opinion, that she experiences, that it's just like, oh, it's not a big deal. He ain't laying hands on me. And that's the problem with society as a whole. If this person isn't laying hands on you physically, doing something to you, then it doesn't count as abuse. And that's just not right. It's disgusting. And so to see anyone taking up for this fool, I just can't understand it. And so now we got a Martell-o-Meter. First of all, that's just stupid. Let's just be clear. And I don't even know why I always have to preface this by saying that, because it really doesn't matter. I don't have to be a melometer to be someone that sees right and sees wrong and doesn't stand for the foolishness. I'm not a melometer, but I am a woman that has common sense. And also I'm someone who's married, and I just don't understand how anyone could be a man that's married to a woman all of these years and just continuously mistreat her in that way. And then when she decides to be done with it, you're doing everything that you possibly can do to try to disparage this person's character and bring her down because you're low and you want to bring her down low with you. It's just crazy to me. So I don't have to be a melometer to see that. But anyone that has sense knows that melometer is a play on words, okay? Melody is her name, and millimeter is an actual word. It's a measurement. And it's ironic because in my business, the products that we use, they're measured by millimeters. So I'm just used to that phrase, millimeter. So a melometer is just a play on words. For someone to say that they are Martell-o-Meter, you're definitely just trying to be, you're trying to be funny, and you're also trying to be disparaging towards people who relate to themselves as that. But for anyone to be standing up for this fool, for what? What has he done to deserve to be a fan of his? I mean, people have the right to like who they want to like. I don't have an issue with someone liking him, even if it's the most dumb reasons. But to like create a fan club for him, or to say I'm a Martell-o-Meter now, I'm a Martell-o-Meter, I can't stand Melody. That's the reason you're doing it. You're only doing it because you can't stand Melody, not because you really like Martell, not because he's done anything that really is. It's just like, wow. He hasn't done anything to warrant that type of support. He tried to take custody of the children so that he could get a check. He tried to get a portion of the profits from the product that she created for that fourth child that they had in the marriage, that now people are trying to be funny to say, oh, we don't really know if that's really his child. And until DNA test is done and the paternity results have been released, I'm going to question it. How dare you? How dare you? I just really cannot stand by that. And for someone to be a married woman, to be out here, to have this large platform, to say that you're a Martell-o-Meter when you're a married woman with children, grandchildren, and you're going to support someone who has been accused of DV, whether it was emotional, verbal, financial, or definitely physical. I've said this before. I don't have any proof of it, but I do believe that he has been physical with her. But see, the issue with that is, it's not even an issue, but the way some people view that is, oh, well, she's strong. She didn't just let him lay his hands on her. She fought back. It's as if a woman who has been physically assaulted by a man, if she's not cowering in the corner, if she's not just laying down and taking the hits or the beatings or the weapons that may be used against her to inflict harm and pain, and she is fighting back, that means she wasn't really physically abused. And that's ridiculous. You know, I know they have a thing now, especially when it comes to the police department, because they weren't there, that if the police are called and they come to the home and both people have laid hands on each other, sometimes they will arrest both people. It doesn't happen all the time, but a lot of times they do that because they just don't really know who is to blame, and they can't just look at it as a situation where a man cannot be physically abused, because we know that can happen too. So that's one of those things where there's kind of like put in the middle, and they have to, I know a lot of police are not always responsible, so I'm not saying they're the best judges of character all the time, but I'm just saying that's usually just a thing where they just kind of have to do that, and then they will allow they'll allow the evidence and everything to come out during the trial and all that stuff, and figure out who's right and who's wrong in the situation. Okay. But it doesn't happen all of the time. But if a woman isn't just laying down and allowing this person to just hit on them, if they're hitting back, if they're strong too, then that means that they were not physically abused. Like, seriously, it's just ridiculous. But I'm saying that's just my opinion, because when he gaslighted her to record her and put those clips out there, which even that clip, I talked about this before too, when he had the clip of him speaking, but he was not on the camera, right? He clipped something together. He just put his voice on there to say, when's the last time you sucked another man's D? And then her response is, what? Like a few weeks ago or something? Whatever it was that she said. I am quite sure anybody that has sense knows that she was talking about something else, and he clipped that together to make it seem like that's what he asked her and that was her response. Are you kidding me right now? Seriously? Anybody that really believes that? You really don't know how this stuff works, especially with somebody like him that does everything to try to make this person look like they are the bad guy. And it's sad, because I know that at this point in time, she really doesn't want to have anything else to do with him. And she has made attempts to just have a civil, cordial relationship with him, but you can't do that with somebody like him. So for anybody to be in support of him, to call themselves a Martell-o-Meter, is just insane. It's ridiculous. And especially being someone that is a woman who is married, who has children, who has grandchildren, and you're going to start something like that. It's just like, wow, you must really hate this other person. You don't have to like her. You don't even have to love her. Honestly, you can hate whoever you want to hate. That's a free thought. It may not make sense, but you have the right to do it. But to allow the hatred of one to go to making it into the support of another that doesn't deserve it is just ridiculous. You can hate the one, but it doesn't mean that you have to attempt to try to love the other when they're not deserving of it. I'm not saying that if he isn't in a state of like true, heartfelt, meaningful repentance, that he doesn't deserve to try to get another chance in society. But when you have not taken any accountability and all you want to do is try to trash this person, then you really have no repentance in your heart. You're just the same person, and you're trying to make that other person out to be the bad guy, not just taking accountability for yourself. And that's why nothing is really going right for him at all. I can't understand it. I never will. But you guys can let me know your thoughts about it, because when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is what we're really doing right now. We're really doing this. Well, anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about that briefly. I don't sound too chipper talking about this because there's just nothing funny about it. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't even talk about it immediately. I had to wait because I try my best to come with a little bit of decorum. I'm not saying that if somebody's going off or they're heated or they're, using colorful language that they're not. I'm just basically saying how I am trying my best to hold my tongue, hold my peace, and not go off, especially on people that I really don't know personally, but the situations, they're just disgusting, and I'm just not here for it. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.